Today, I'm talking about a topic that I know gets a lot of people excited, but it also scares the living daylights out of some of you. What am I talking about? Property auctions. Now, I want you to listen to this bit very carefully. Property auctions are a form of wealth redistribution. Auctions are a way to take money from the pockets of uneducated people and put it directly into the hands of the educated and savvy investors like you. Now, my job today over the next 20 minutes or so on this episode is to make absolutely certain that you are on the right side of that and that you are educated and you know how to make auctions work for you and how to avoid the common mistakes that people make that are so avoidable. Now, I've been in this game, the property game, for 20 years, and I've bought multiple properties from auction, and I've seen the massive wins, and I've also heard the complete horror stories and the devastation from people who've lost tens of thousands of pounds by making simple and very avoidable mistakes. So grab a cuppa, get comfortable, and let's get into it. We're going to break down exactly how auctions work, how I approach them, and the secrets that I use to find incredible deals that most people completely miss. So the first question is, why even look at auctions? Why not just stick to the normal way of buying property, Rightmove, estate agents, and doing the usual thing? Well, for me, it comes down to three things: speed, opportunity, and transparency. So forget Rightmove. Here are three huge reasons why your next property deal should come from an auction. First is speed. A normal property purchase can drag on for months on end. With an auction, you exchange contracts on the same day and you typically complete within 28 days. It's fast, it's decisive, and it cuts out all of the nonsense. Second is opportunity. Auctions are full of motivated sellers. You'll find repossessions, probate properties, homes that need a lot of work doing to them, and these are just perfect for investors. That's literally what we're looking for. So we see the potential in those properties, and these are perfect for investors like us who can see the potential where other people just see a huge problem and a stinky old property. We see the money and we see the potential and we see the profit. And this is where you find the real hidden gems. And third, transparency. There's no messing around. The bidding is open. You know what everyone else is offering. And when the hammer falls, the deal is done. No last minute gazumping or sellers changing their minds or agents getting involved and messing things up. But, and this is a big but, that speed and opportunity comes with a risk. Because if you're not prepared, and you don't get your ducks in a row and you don't know what you're doing, you can and will get burned badly. Now, there's two types of property auctions that you must understand. So before you even think about bidding and getting all excited and running off to your next auction, you need to know the difference between the two main types of auctions here in the UK that we have. Now, getting this wrong can cause a world of pain. So we need to know which one's which and what the differences are. So we've got the traditional auction that you see on Homes Under the Hammer on TV, where there's a guy talking incredibly fast. People raise their hands to bid in the room and then the hammer falls. And then we've got the modern method of auction. So this is a warning. Don't bid on a property using the modern method of auction until you've watched this or listened to this. The traditional auction is what most people think of. Whether it's in a room or it's online, the process is the same. The moment that hammer falls, you've exchanged contracts. You pay a 10% deposit immediately and you have to complete the purchase, usually in 28 days, and it's legally binding. There's no backing out at that point. It is legally binding. And this is my preferred way of buying at auction because it's clean and it's super quick. And then you've got the modern method of auction. You see this cropping up more and more these days with estate agents, and you'll see plenty of these actually on Rightmove advertised as well. So what is it? Well, the winning bidder pays a hefty reservation fee, which can be 4 or 5% of the purchase price. And this fee is often non-refundable. It's normally around about £6,000. And then you have a longer period to complete, which is usually about 56 days. So you might think, well, 56 days is more than 28, so that's good. Now, that sounds more flexible, doesn't it? 56 days. But here's the catch. That massive fee that you've got to pay is such a negative for me. You have to factor that into your numbers, which means you have to offer less for the property. Now, in my opinion, it's a great route for estate agents to make more commission. That's why the agents do it and offer it. But it's not always the best for the buyer or even the seller. So my advice is to always read the auction terms and conditions, understand the fees and the timelines before you even think about bidding. So I just want to interrupt the podcast just for a second and share with you that I really, really hope that this episode of the podcast is opening your eyes to what's possible in property. If you're serious about building your property portfolio and if you want to execute a proper plan of action for yourself, my mentorship program, the Property Accelerator, is designed for exactly that. It's one-to-one coaching. It's personalized around you, your goals, your strengths, your weaknesses. It is very, very bespoke and personalized. I support my clients one-to-one, ongoing, for as long as they need me to help them for. And that doesn't mean a huge fee or ongoing fees for that service. No, Property Accelerator is completely unique in the UK. It's a one-off fee for lifetime mentorship with me, yours truly. And we're now accepting applications for new members. So head on over to the link for more information, which is psnpropertyblog.com/accelerator. And if you're interested or you'd like a chat, head on over to the website, that link, and you can book in a free, no obligation chat with me on the phone for 15 minutes. You can ask questions and you can see if it's a good fit for yourself. Back to today's episode. So step one, the legal pack. The most important part of an auction deal is the one that most people actually skip, which is crazy. Doesn't make any sense. Before you view the property, before you calculate your profit, you need to do one thing. Get the legal pack and send it to your solicitor. I know it's the most boring part, and it's just a big folder of legal documents that will put you to sleep. And if you attempt to read it, you will fall asleep. It is a hazard. But this is where the horror stories are born, in that legal pack. The legal pack contains the title deeds, the searches, and crucially, a document called the Special Conditions of Sale. Now, this is where they hide nasty surprises. I've seen clauses in there for huge extra fees that you have to pay on completion, or clauses that say that the buyer has to pay the seller's costs. And I once saw a property where the special conditions revealed a massive structural issue that wasn't obvious from the viewing. You couldn't see anything wrong with the property, but there was something wrong with that property. If you don't get a solicitor to review that pack, you are bidding completely blind. And whilst it might seem like you're saving money on getting a solicitor involved, it's really not saving money. You have to do your due diligence on auction purchases. So what's in the legal pack is what you are legally agreeing to buy. And sometimes the most important thing is what's missing from the pack. An incomplete legal pack is a massive red flag. Never, ever, ever bid without having it checked by a professional. It's the best few £100 you will ever spend. Trust me. Now, someone the other day was talking online. I seen this and I've got to share it with you. So someone the other day was talking online the other day about legal packs and said they'd uploaded the legal pack to ChatGPT and got the AI to analyse the legal pack. And as good as AI is, I would not be replacing a solicitor and a professional who understands those documents with throwing it into some AI model and getting that to check it over. I've also read about ChatGPT getting basic maths wrong when it was fed too many lines of data. So it's not foolproof. It's not there yet. Bottom line is, get a solicitor to check over your legal pack. Don't cut corners because you're just asking for problems. Step two, the viewing and the numbers. So once the legal pack gets a thumbs up from your solicitor and they give you the okay, it's time to go and do a viewing. If you can go to every single viewing slot available at different times of the day because you'll see the property in different lights. But more importantly, you get a feel and an idea for how much competition there is. Take a builder with you if you can, if you're not confident on the refurb costs. Video everything. Take a video as you're walking around. Notice any problems, any obvious issues, and make sure you get close-ups. Your job here is to be a detective. You are looking for any problems that other bidders might miss. And then it's back to the office, back to your desk, run the numbers, and you've got to be ruthless. You have to be ruthless with this. I always work backwards from the end value. What will this property be worth once it's refurbished and done? And then from that end value, I take everything away. I subtract everything off of that. So I take away the minimum profit margin. And for me, that's 25%. You take away the full refurbishment cost of the works. You take away the stamp duty and all the legal fees. You take away the auction fees, and you take away the financing costs as well. Don't forget the financing costs. Now, the number that I'm left with then, that is my maximum bid. And I write that down. And this is the most that I'm willing to pay, full stop. And that's it. It's that simple. So step 3, setting your maximum bid. Now, the fastest way to lose money at a property auction is definitely to just let your heart rule your head. And here's how to stop that happening. On auction day, it's so easy. So easy. And I've seen it happen. People get caught up in the excitement. The bidding goes up, your adrenaline is pumping, and you think, one more bid, I want it. And that's how you end up with a dead duck of a property where you actually paid way too much and you've destroyed any profit that would have been in the deal. Now, the number that you calculated in the cold light of day is the right number. That's your maximum bid. Your maximum bid is your safety net. Anything more than that, you're losing money. It doesn't work. You have to go into that auction knowing your limit and having the discipline to walk away if the price goes past that. And a little tip I use around coming up with that number is, instead of using a round number like 150,000, I'll set my maximum bid at something specific like 151,250. And it makes it look like you've done your homework more precisely, but it can throw off other bidders who are thinking in round numbers. And you'd be surprised by how many people just think in round numbers only. So remember, the only thing worse than losing a deal is winning a bad deal. There will always be another property auction around the corner to attend, so don't get caught up in it. Section 4, the secret weapon, which is pre- and post-auction offers. This is something that has made me hundreds of thousands of pounds over the years, and it's how you can buy auction properties without even having to bid. So how does that even work? Well, it's all about the pre-auction, so before the auction, and post-auction, which is after the auction. The best deals are often done before the auction even starts. Remember, sellers at auction are motivated. They're motivated sellers. They want a quick, certain sale. So if you've done your due diligence, you viewed the property, the legal pack is clean, and you know your numbers, you can approach that auctioneer before the auction takes place and make an offer. Now, if your offer is strong and it's close to what they were expecting to get, they might just accept it to avoid the uncertainty of auction day. And this is one of the best ways to secure a great deal without having any of the competition of auction day. But what if the property you want goes into an auction and it doesn't sell? Well, this is your second chance, and it's even better post-auction. Properties that fail to sell at auction get a black mark against them. The seller is disappointed and they're even more motivated to sell now. So you've got the added motivation. And this is the perfect time for you to swoop in, contact the auctioneer the day after the auction, find out what the reserve price was, and make a sensible offer. And honestly, you can get some absolutely incredible deals at auction, post-auction, because you're now in a very, very strong negotiating position. Don't just think about auction day itself. Think about the days leading up to the auction and the days immediately after the auction. That's when deals are done. That's when savvy investors make their money. So in conclusion, it's not about being the bravest bidder in the room or the person that bids the most. It's about being the most prepared. It's about doing your homework, knowing your numbers, having that discipline to stick to your strategy and your maximum bid and your own rules of engagement. Auctions can be a very fast-paced, rewarding way to buy property, but they demand respect. You know, you've got to do your homework beforehand. You've got to get your ducks in a row, and you might just find that your next and most profitable deal is waiting for you at the next auction. Now, that's all for this week's episode. If you watched the episode on YouTube, thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe and click the button wherever it is, and I'll be back next week. But until then, take care, stay safe, and take it easy. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching.